Today we are doing our first ever true crime episode. Podsode. Fuck it.
This is The Last Podcast with Bryan, Renaud, and Sheena Thornton, presented by Random Acts.
What we're talking about today is the very recent Astroworld tragedy at Astrofest in Houston.
Yeah, I know minimal about this.
Yeah, it's very ongoing, basically. But essentially, thousands and thousands of people went to a concert, and not everybody got to go home because of how people behaved and
Travis Scott, huh?
lack of security. Yeah. So I'm going to tell you about the Astroworld tragedy.
What I know about this is essentially what you said. A lot of people went to a concert. In my mind, it's only a crushing incident, but I recently got a little glimpse of something else, but I'm not certain what that was. Someone was like, it's not just trampling.
Yeah, I mean, it was really mass chaos. It was kind of like a war zone. And there were a lot of like rumors and conspiracy theories because you hear, people are dropping like flies. It must be drugs. It must be, something like that. So a lot of that I find very, disrespectful to just like spout bullshit to TikTok because your crystals tell you that this was a demonic sacrificial event.
What the fuck?
But we'll get into that later. So I'll just walk through kind of what happened. Very early in the day, essentially, thousands of people just stormed the gates, just broke down the barriers, ran through the metal detectors, stormed. They estimate over 5,000 people broke into the festival. This is Travis Scott's fault. He encourages this shit. He tweets and he's yelled out at concerts like storm security, storm the barricades, like come to the stage.
Whoa!
He encourages his fans to just say fuck it and break in.
I did not know this.
So literally before even lunchtime, the festival should have been canceled for security reasons.
Wow.
Not only like nobody was showing their negative COVID test or their vaccination card, anyone could have had a gun or a bomb, full bottles of liquor. Who the fuck knows? Because at least 5,000 people just ran in. This is during a fucking pandemic.
Dude, I thought they oversold during a pandemic. That's how so many people got in there.
I think they did as well.
This is immediately blowing my mind.
But yeah, at least 5,000 people just broke the fuck in, encouraged by the guy who runs it. It makes no sense, but he just loves fucking chaos.
No safety.
So literally by noon, the one of the merch tables has to shut down because the crowd is surging so much. They're like breaking into the merch area. People are stealing merch. People are getting hurt. At noon, they shut the merch down, but they still don't shut anything else down. Like how is that not the sign? This is not good.
Wait until people get drunk and it turns nighttime. Right.
So,
no.
There's 5,000 at least extra people there, and there's 2 stages, but when Travis performs, there's nobody performing on the second stage.
Right.
So there's at least 55,000 people going to see one performer.
During a pandemic.
Festivals have multiple stages because they keep the crowd separated. Or you at least have other shows that distract people for part of it and whatever. But
reasons.
This literally was just like the stage here now for hours. So people are waiting there for hours and hours and hours.
Waiting for it.
And basically, I read this one account of these people that got there early in the day. They were in the merch line and then they had to leave, and then they went right up against the front barricade for the Travis Scott concert 5 or 6 hours beforehand.
That's not where you want to be.
10 minutes, because they put up a countdown, I think 90 minutes before he came out. 10 minutes before, the crowd was already surging forward so much and closing in on each other that these people who were some of his biggest fans, you've just stood there all day, they were we need to go. That's how serious it was. Right before the show, they were it's not worth seeing our favorite artist because this could kill us. So people were starting to realize.
I went to a Bonnaroo once and I forget what show it was. Was it Haim? It might have been Haim. Where we were leaving, at Bonnaroo, we were leaving the Haim show, I want to say, and people started pushing, but we were exiting. And that was scary. It started out kind of weird, but it didn't feel like it was gonna. It escalated quickly, I guess, and it was just boom, and then all of a sudden we were oh, we're being crushed in front of these people, but people were leaving, and exiting. So like it unbottlenecked at one point. We were like I remember we couldn't kind of breathe. Like it was very claustrophobic, very scary. I couldn't imagine this.
Yeah.
To a stage. I was like, to an exit.
Nobody could get out. It was like there were barricades on 3 of the 4 sides, and people were just kept filling in and filling in.
No.
So by the time he gets to like 10 seconds, the back of the crowd is surging so much towards the front that even before he's coming out, people are screaming for help that they can't breathe.
What is...
And then as soon as he comes out and the music starts, it just like goes into fucking chaos.
No.
And the way Crowd Crush works, it's like, it basically, the crowd becomes liquid. Like, you have no control over your own body anymore. Your feet are no longer touching the ground. I read an account of a guy who was like almost 400 pounds, 6'5" something. He was moving around with the crowd. Like, nobody has a chance. These like little young women and kids, like,
just trampled.
Nobody has a chance.
Damn.
So, two things really happen in a crowd crush like this. The first one, and both of them lead to the fatalities. The first one is that everybody's so closed in on each other that your lungs no longer have room to expand.
Oh, that's so terrifying.
So you essentially drown in the air. And that can cause cardiac arrest.
No.
So that's one of the reasons people were dropping and having heart attacks. And like one of the victims who's still in the hospital, I believe a 9-year-old boy, he had been on his dad's shoulders waiting for the concert to start.
9?
The dad was crushed, couldn't breathe, so dad passed out, boy fell, and then was trampled. That's the other way you get hurt or killed in a crowd crush. If you fall down, more people fall.
Cannot get back
more and
up.
more people fall. It essentially creates a sinkhole.
Yeah.
And if you're on the bottom, you can't
done.
breathe. People land on your face and your neck, and so essentially, like, this is happening like throughout this front section, but for a lot of these fans, they have no idea any of this chaos
they're in the back.
is happening at all. Like, there's room in the back, but these people keep surging forward, and they're begging him to stop the show. He won't stop the show. He like acknowledges it multiple times. He's like, "Oh, what's wrong with that guy? Get him out of here!" Like, whatever. And then like ambulances are coming into the crowd, and he doesn't stop the show. It makes no sense.
What the fuck? Why wouldn't you want your fans to be safe?
Hello, the people that pay
your fucking money. Yeah, like, what the fuck?
Like, by less than a minute into the concert, like, people are screaming for their lives. And he's just up there singing away. And
to who? Like, people that are dying? Like, come on, stop the show. Who are you performing for?
I would say that this is, like, one of the most documented tragedies I've ever seen. Scrolling TikTok for days afterwards, it was like you could see every angle possible, and it was literally like the countdown. People are excited. The person's holding the camera up, ready for the concert, and then suddenly they surge forward. They're on the ground, and you hear people screaming, "Help me, please! I can't breathe!" Or "There's a dead person next to me. This person's not getting up. Their eyes rolled to the back of their heads." Like, the thousands of people that have trauma from this event, and I'm getting ahead of myself, but guess what Travis Scott has offered these people? He's offered to pay funeral expenses and 30 free days of BetterHelp, the online therapy.
That you can get like a coupon for.
That sounds like satire.
No matter
and if
what
you
podcast you listen to.
And a refund of your Astroworld ticket. Thank you. If you accept
goodness.
any of these, you like wave away your ability to sue him. How fucked
I
up
would
is that?
not accept
Yeah.
any of that. I would sue him, and that would pay for my medical bills.
Yeah.
And fuck the ticket.
Fuck it all.
And BetterHelp, because guess what? I already have BetterHelp.
Like,
I don't need it.
Can you imagine watching your
30
friend die
days?
at a concert and then being offered 30 free days
30
of
a month?
BetterHelp?
What's a month of therapy? It feels like nothing.
One session, maybe
feels
two.
like nothing, yeah.
Like,
month.
That does not sound real to me. That's like Black Mirror shit. But so by 20 minutes into the show, the first ambulance is going into the crowd. Keep in mind, Travis Scott encourages his fans to rage. So these people won't move for the ambulance to get through. They can't get through this sea of people. People jump on top of the ambulance and start dancing, filming TikToks. Like, they're trying to save people's lives.
Yeah.
And these people are like, yeah, we're raging, filming TikToks, dancing. Like, these people, some of them could have been saved.
Holy fuck, I did not know that happened.
So, by 30 minutes in, 2 young individuals get on stage and are screaming to, like, the operators of...
Good!
A camera operator, literally, like, there is a dead person over there. There are
Good.
people dying out
Help
here.
them.
You have to stop the show. Everyone just ignores, says, get the fuck off the stage. They're literally like, that is someone's kid. Like,
Get the fuck
there
off
are
the
people
stage.
dying. They just continue the show. Like, just continue. And then 52 minutes in, he brings Drake out.
Oh, thank
So
God.
There's already been all these surges. People are like getting up and finding themselves and being okay. Drake comes out. There's another fucking deadly surge. People are knocked back down. People can't get out. Literally, security and people who aren't security are lifting grown men and women up over the barricades because there's no way out. And you can see on these TikToks, like, these people are bloody. They're covered in sweat. They're gasping for air. Also, the security was not trained for first aid at all. Many people quit because of how overwhelmed they were. They were trained, but, like, not really.
Yeah.
And then imagine
fuck?
this. You're a security person or an EMT person hired for the event, and they say somebody is unconscious towards the front.
Right.
As you're walking to that person, you pass
You're crushed.
5 other people who have been crushed, who are knocked down. They can't even lift them up. There's a TikTok that I saw with my own eyes
heartbreaking.
of them pulling out a board with a woman's lifeless body over people who are just watching the concert, and they drop her on her face onto the ground. And then they just pick her up and keep going. Like, because these people were just completely
Nobody
unprepared, these workers. And
You don't think that's gonna happen? Like,
well, you would say that, but as they prepared for the event, they were trained to refer to any dead bodies at the concert as Smurfs. So they did
prepared for
anticipate
that to happen.
that there would be casualties at their event. And a lot of
But
people
they-
feel like being called a Smurf when you're a corpse lying on the ground is not the most sensitive
also, yeah.
thing.
And also,
Especially
why-
since these people couldn't breathe.
Why train me, and then I still feel unprepared? That's not a good training.
It's so fucked up. So
I'm not properly trained, so why even bring it up? Wow, this is fucking disturbing.
yeah. So people literally
So-
say, like, if your hands were up, you could not bring them down. If they were down, you could not lift them up. People were separated from their parties, like, just begging for help.
Yeah.
And
I've been in some weird concert situations.
I've
where-
left the front
Yeah.
of a concert before because I felt like I couldn't breathe.
Same.
But
But holy shit, that, like, and it's just it's a spiral. Like, there's no
right.
stopping it unless you stop the show, and the only person that can stop the show is the person that's on stage.
And at one point, they're literally chanting, "Stop the show! Stop the show!"
Who does he think he's performing to?
You can see him. He's on this raised platform, looking down at EMTs trying to revive a lifeless body. He is looking down, singing into his auto-tune mic, "Yeah, yeah." So that's one of the reasons people think it's a fucking demonic sacrifice, because they're like, he's confirming that that's why they were there, that that's what he wanted.
some Jennifer's Body shit.
But I think he's just a fucking idiot.
Yeah, I think he's just dumb.
And he
then
didn't
brought
want to stop
Drake
the show.
out.
He's like, oh, they fainted. Like, no, that person is dead. That person is never
Something's
going home
happening. Like,
because
yes,
of you.
people faint at shows, and yes, they have to carry people out sometimes, but not if you can see multiple incidences and people just laying on the ground.
It's horrible.
And stop the fucking
And
show.
literally, since this happened, there have been tons of viral clips on social media of, like, Adele and random other artists
Saying-
stopping their fucking show.
Yeah.
Harry Styles, I think, like, people
Harry
who are
Styles,
like, oh,
I
is that
remember that.
person okay?
Yeah.
Like, just stopping and making sure one person who's fainting. Or there was one I saw where a woman yells security, and whoever the artist is like, stop. Who said that? Are you okay?
Yeah.
Because
you can see
don't
it, you
you
can
care
hear it.
about the people there to see you? These people are begging you.
Yeah.
Like, it's, the footage is so chilling of this festival where you hear these people literally screaming for their lives. And you don't know if one of these people screaming in the video is somebody who didn't make it out.
Right. And it's also like, yes, it's entertainment. Yes, you're an artist, but also you have a bird's eye view and you're a human being. So even just as human to human, wouldn't you just
No.
want to check on someone that yelled out security?
You
like,
can see, like,
or-
there's footage of him, like, 4 feet away from security people lifting, like, basically lifeless people out. And he just keeps going. Like,
This
there
is
is
some Jennifer's
no,
Body shit.
there is no argument that he did not know what was going on.
Wow.
And did you know, after the concert, he went to Dave & Buster's for a party? People were dead, and he went to Dave & Buster's, like
I
the
hope he
fucking
had a
10-year-old he
fun
is.
fucking time.
Supposedly, that's when he found out. But tell
How
me
do
why
you
his
saw it?
wife and child were escorted out in the middle of the concert. Why were they asked Why were they escorted out?
It got a little dangerous.
Because they knew what was fucking going on. So Travis Scott has a rule.
Fuck.
He wants people to come and rage. You're not allowed to stand still at a Travis Scott concert, and he encourages this shit. He's been arrested for this shit before. In 2017, he was arrested for inciting a riot in Arkansas. He encouraged the people at his show to bypass security and storm the stage. That is like not safe for him either. It makes no sense.
Someone can have a gun and kill him.
In 2017, a crowd surge in a balcony at a concert in New York pushed a fan from the balcony, and he was paralyzed.
And I'm sure Travis Scott saw that from stage.
Was encouraging people to jump from the balcony, saying people would catch them. What?
Why?
It's sport for him to watch his fans hurt themselves.
This is some fucking, like...
In 2015, at Lollapalooza, his set was cut short after 5 minutes because he was encouraging everybody to go so crazy, and he was like saying "fuck you" to the security and everything, and he was arrested then for disorderly conduct.
He was arrested at Lollapalooza
in 2015.
I was there. The thing is, do you think it's like he kind of like gets off on it, like it's like a weird like fix for him?
So he wanted to go into wrestling when he was a kid. Jesus, so he has said that he wants his crowd to resemble like a wrestling arena crowd. Like he wants that violence.
I've been in a wrestling arena crowd. I've been to a WrestleMania, and guess what? That's not how they are.
Right, of course
you just watch the fucking show most of the time.
Of course.
You just, like, I was sitting most of the time. Like, you stand up every once in a while, cheer, but no, it's not even like a concert.
Nobody should go to a concert, an event that's supposed to be fun, and die. No. That makes no sense.
There's children there.
There were children there, and there are children that are in the hospital to this day because of it. Ugh. And there were bodies that were there for 10, 20, 30 minutes before they were moved. Can you imagine you're watching a show and there's too many people. There's nothing to be done.
I wonder how many people left.
Like, how many people are fucking traumatized for their life?
Like, I would turn around and try to get out.
People did, and they couldn't. Yeah, people were begging to get out, and like
couldn't.
One of the accounts that I read was like to get just to the front or to the back would be several minutes. Like you're going through thousands and thousands of people, and people were not only like accidentally being part of the crowd crush, but people started intentionally jumping each other. People had their shit stolen from them. People were like punched and kicked, and
because crime's going crime.
It's just like, right, exactly. It's the purge. Nobody's ever going to find out. So the conspiracies went wild immediately because, of course, there's tons of demonic imagery already. Like there was like a portal with the stage and it was like, see you on the other side. But like, that's just a fucking brand. And saying that it was a demonic ritual is letting him off for the fact that he is responsible for negligence in this event.
This is a careless fucking man that doesn't give a shit about humanity.
It's wild.
Wow.
And there was another rumor that went out that somebody was running around the festival injecting people with drugs. And
I heard that.
Why they were having heart attacks. And so nobody could move, but somebody could run around with drugs.
That's crowd crush.
It's because people are like, you don't just have heart attacks. You don't just faint. No, you don't, unless you're fucking crushed.
Yeah.
So there was also a lot of people believe there's so many more dead than just 8 or 9 people because the 9th person just died, I believe, yesterday.
Yeah, I heard that.
That was the first concert she ever went to.
Oh.
And her mom said no, and she kept asking, and she wanted her daughter to have fun, and she'll never forgive herself for that.
Damn.
It's heartbreaking. No victim from this is over 27, and the youngest is 14. It's a fucking tragedy.
14.
So one of the last rumors was that there were just hundreds dead, that people saw hundreds of thousands of bodies just all over.
What they do? Just clean them up?
But I think it was just like the mass chaos. I think there were probably a lot of people that were on the ground that were just injured. Because I think over 300 people were taken to hospitals.
Like when you're wrapped up in it like that.
Right.
Like, your brain's like, this is too many people to be on the ground. Yeah. There was hundreds. Like,
right. And I think it was just kind of like there were those pockets of chaos, and then there were lots of areas where nobody knew anything was wrong. So if you thought those pockets of chaos were happening everywhere, then, hundreds of bodies. But in reality, it was only, however many it actually was. But so people think there's this massive cover-up, but that's not the case.
No. People love a conspiracy theory. Good Lord.
Yeah, and it can be really fucking disrespectful.
Yeah,
it's the same thing with Gabby Petito. Yep. Like any sort of crime or tragedy that goes mainstream at all these days.
Love a conspiracy theory.
If you are in a crowd and you think you might be about to experience crowd rush, first of all, just be aware of your surroundings. If you are no longer to the point where you have like your own mobility, like think about it like you want to be able to dance, right? Yeah. That's why you're in the front anyway. If you're where like you realize you're making contact with people on every side, that's time to go.
Yeah.
Because any more room than that, you're not going to be able to take a full breath. No. These people that survived, like they are literally like people were drowning. In this crowd, you're like just looking up, gasping for air.
Oh my God.
Because your lungs cannot expand because there are too many people. It doesn't seem like something that should be able to happen.
No, but
how do you drown in people? But you can.
Yeah, it's just, it's a terrible circumstance.
Horrifying.
Did you ever watch Game of Thrones?
I did not.
Fuck. There's a Battle of the Bastards scene where it's crushed. Like it's a crowd crush. He's just in the middle and he comes up basically swimming.
Yeah.
Like,
it's horrible. The best thing you can do
watch that scene.
Leave, first of all. It's not worth your life, and you can't clearly rely on the artist to keep an eye on it for you.
That's so fucked up.
If you find yourself moving with the crowd and you don't have a choice, immediately, best thing you can do is put your arms here. Because this allows your lungs to keep even just one more inch of space.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because they can't bring this in. Cool. It's even if it's all that you can do, that can be helpful.
You have as much...
Because people were stuck like this with their hands in the air at the concert.
That's the worst case scenario, probably.
Couldn't get down. Then, there's backpacks on the ground. People trip and fall, and then somebody steps on your face or your neck. Like, it's horrific. It's
a trampling. That is... this is scary.
Yeah, get your hands up like that.
Wow.
But if you possibly can... just get out of there.
Fucking go.
I'm 30 now, but like I'll probably sit in the back at concert. I mean, it's still pandemic, and I'm not.
No, I'm not.
Why was there a crowd of 50,000 people, but fucking Houston?
That's why Texas.
It's a tragedy. I'll say the victims.
Please, yes.
The victims are Franco Patino, who was 21, John Hilgert, who was 14. Brianna Rodriguez, who was 16, Rudy Pena, who's 23, Danish Beg, who I don't know their age, Jacob E. Jurinek, who was 20, Axel Acosta, who was 21, Madison Dubisky, who was 23, and Barty Shahani, who just passed this week, who was only 22.
My goodness.
Children.
Just trying to have fun on a concert.
Going to a concert.
Like, and also, like, probably, like, one of their first times, like, back out somewhere like that. Because I'm not going to a concert anytime soon.
Yeah, these people were, like, there to see their favorite artist. And he killed them.
He basically killed them. And then he brought Drake out, and Drake also didn't stop the show.
Dumb. They just played dumb. Like, and at this point, there are currently 88 lawsuits against him as I was like, who's suing November 13th.
Good. Fuck that.
Live Nation should be held responsible. Yes. They presented the event. The security company should be held responsible.
Anyone on stage that could see what was happening should be held responsible.
Well, a lot of people say, like, what about that cameraman who that
should be held responsible?
But, like, capitalism, he was doing his job, but, like...
I would say something.
There is no job I could ever have that if somebody was like, there's a dead person right there...
I would put the camera down.
Nothing would stop me. Nothing would stop me.
I would go tell someone behind stage, like, we gotta do something.
It must be so haunting for them to know, like, what if they hadn't died yet and you could have helped?
Hope they got paid well by Travis.
All of the 5,000 plus people who rushed the show, they're also to blame. Because if the venue was not above capacity, this wouldn't have been possible in the first place.
Just because someone with a platform tells you to do something does not mean you actually have to fucking
because
do
he's
it.
not going to face he's going to face consequences now.
He probably won't even know you've rushed it and you're part of his fucking...
He doesn't know you exist.
He does not know you exist. Exactly. Like...
It's so sad. Because those people aren't the ones who died.
No.
The people who rushed and the people acting violent were not the ones who died.
But he called to action, and it's like the Capitol. Someone with a platform says something insane out loud.
Yeah.
And then people...
To a point...
Just go with it.
With that, it is entertainment for them.
They just fucking go with it.
It's like watching, the little ants or whatever.
Yeah. Oh.
It's really, really sad.
Travis Scott is disgusting now.
We've all been to a concert. We've all been to an event. Like, it just... You never, ever, ever go to something like that and think, this will become a very deadly situation. So
there was a football game that maybe it was baseball. I don't know.
A soccer game years and years ago?
Yes, a soccer game.
People up against the fence, like 90 people died.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, this reminds me of that. Holy
there's been several instances of crowd crush, other concerts where people have died. You know, I think the last big one was like 20 years ago. But it's horrible.
It's post-pandemic. First off, why
not post it?
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like,
very optimistic of you to say post-pandemic.
Why book so many? Like, why oversell this way? Then, if you're out there too. Like, what if I don't know? Why tell people to rush when they've already? It's like a max capacity situation.
I don't even know what is like fair in this situation, but I hope he gets his fucking just desserts.
Yes.
Along with everybody else. If Live Nation has to shut down, shut the fuck down.
I just don't understand why people were on the stage operating cameras, sound, whatever, and they didn't stop. What did they think would happen to them?
I think it's just like you're drinking the Kool-Aid right then. You know, you're working for Live Nation, you're working for Travis Scott, and if they don't say stop, you're not going to stop. But also, like, what if you saying into your walkie-talkie, there's a dead person, is what causes them to stop?
Yeah.
But at the same time, the police and everything called it a mass casualty situation, and the show went on for 45 more minutes.
That's gross.
How do you announce that this is a mass casualty event?
Yeah.
And he's allowed to keep performing for 45 more minutes and still bring another guest out.
Someone shut that down. Like, how did the police officers...
There were like 550 some police there.
How do they not have the authority to shut it down regardless of who he is?
Walk up to that stage and take the mic out of his fucking hands.
Shut the sound. Like, do it. Like, yeah.
It's
what
horrible.
The fuck?
Yeah.
Cops not doing their job right again.
What?
Here we are.
That's wild.
Here we are. I can't believe it. That's
Astrofest.
That was intense.
2021. Really sad.
Did not know. Oh, that's not okay.
I hope everybody affected finds their peace, and I hope they make all the money they could possibly make from this. All of these families better get the best payoffs.
And I don't mean BetterHelp.com, because you can probably find a fucking promo code for it on the internet somewhere.
And honestly, if this changes regulations for concerts moving forward, so the fuck be it.
Good.
Nobody should die when they're going somewhere to have fun.
No. Like, honestly. Oh.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say. I'm, like, disturbed by it. So, couldn't imagine being in it.
Yeah. And there was a lot of pushback to his apology video as well.
I didn't see his apology video.
It was not sincere. It was like a black and white selfie video, and he's just like rubbing his head.
It was like moody.
Oh man, never actually apologizes or takes any sort of responsibility. So,
who's he married to?
Fucking, I think Kylie Jenner. I don't really know the Kardashians very well. No. I believe it's Kylie Jenner, and they have Stormy together. Does that sound right?
Oh, yeah.
Stormy and Kylie, if they are the right ones, they were at the show, and they were escorted out right around the time it was called the mass casualty event. And there's plenty of TikToks you can see, because they're going to get people's bodies, and then instead, you know, Kylie Jenner walks out with security, and then the bodies are carried past, because
we got to hold
priorities.
On for the princess of the United States.
Did you know Caitlyn Jenner came in 13th in the governor election?
Holy shit!
In California.
I forgot Caitlyn ran.
Yeah, there's a video where she's like, it's a toss-up. What's gonna happen? 13th place, bitch.
I forgot Caitlyn fucking ran. That's 13th for you, where I'm like, so yeah, you were on the fucking ballot. Oh. That whole family is...
Politics.
We said we'd never talk about it. Well...
I'm queer. You're a woman of color.
And guess what?
We live in America.
We should find some of our people the way they found Gabby Petito.
We'll be back with more.
Yeah.
Less spoken about.
Less spoken about. Much less spoken about crimes. So, get ready.
Slide into our DMs if you have suggestions or questions, anything we missed. We are going to do a corrections episode down the line. So if we said wrong shit in this or any episode, we know we did already. Call us out if we don't find it ourselves. We'd love to help.
Yes.
Like us on all the social media.
Like us on social.
Share.
Email us.
The
What's
last
the email?
podcast, period, RA.
Boom.
At gmail.com. randomactsnetwork.com.
Goodbye.
Bye.
This has been The Last Podcast with Bryan Renaud and Sheena Thornton. Visit randomactchicago.com for more.